In America's heartland, a new battle is underway, not with weapons, but with visions for the future. On one side, former President Donald Trump calling for a return to American industrial might. On the other, Detroit Mayor Mike Carney championing technology and innovation. This isn't just politics, it's a defining moment for the nation. Detroit, once the symbol of American power, is now the epicenter of a global debate. The choices made here will ripple across the world, shaping trade and America's economic identity. Is the U.S. clinging to the past or forging ahead into a new global economy? For Detroiters, this is about more than policy. It's about jobs, homes, and their children's futures. Some see hope in the promise of revitalized steel mills. Others fear repeating old mistakes. The city is divided, families and neighbors forced to choose sides. This is about more than steel. It's about the soul of a nation and the meaning of progress. Is progress the roar of a blast furnace or the hum of a server farm? Trump and Carney embody these opposing visions, turning Detroit into a symbol of America's identity crisis. As of November 15, 2025, Detroit's future, and perhaps the nation's, hangs in the balance. The world is watching. The stakes could not be higher. The outcome here will echo far beyond city limits. The crossroads is now. Detroit was forged by steel and cars, the engine of America's rise. The Big Three, Ford, GM, Chrysler, built more than cars. They built the American middle class. A factory job meant prosperity, a home, a future. Steel and auto manufacturing were inseparable, creating a vibrant metropolis. People flocked to Detroit for good wages and steady work. The city's pulse was the clang of steel, its skyline a testament to industry. But the engine faltered. The oil crisis, foreign competition, globalization and automation took their toll. Manufacturing jobs vanished, steel mills rusted and factories fell silent. The decline was slow and painful, erasing a way of life for generations. By the 2000s, Detroit was a shadow of itself. Population plummeted, bankruptcy followed. The scars of industrial decay run deep, even as downtown pockets revive. Detroit's history explains both the longing for old jobs and the fear of repeating past mistakes. The city's identity is shaped by this legacy. The debate now is whether to resurrect the past or build something new. Detroit's story is America's story, a struggle between nostalgia and progress. The stakes are personal, the consequences real. The city's future depends on learning from its past. The world is watching Detroit's next move. The choice is urgent. Last month, the conflict escalated. On October 22, 2025, Donald Trump, at an Ohio rally, demanded Detroit revive its steel industry. "We're going to open up the steel mills," he declared, promising to make Detroit the steel capital again, backed by political muscle and financial interests. Trump framed this as economic patriotism and national security. He argued that domestic steel means jobs and strength, and that foreign reliance is dangerous. Supporters saw common sense, critics saw political theater. Trump's ultimatum included a $2 billion investment offer if Detroit provided land and fast-track permits. "That's thousands of jobs," he said. "Any politician who blocks this betrays the working class." The city government faced immense pressure: accept the deal or be branded anti-worker. With midterms looming, Trump's message resonated in hard-hit states. The demand was more than about steel. It was a political statement. Trump positioned himself as the champion of forgotten workers, forcing opponents into a corner. The battle lines were drawn. Detroit became the stage for a national showdown. The stakes: jobs, identity, and political power. The city's next move would define its future. The nation watched. Detroit's response was swift. On October 24, 2025, Mayor Mike Carney stood firm. "Detroit will not be blackmailed. We're moving forward, not backward." Carney rejected Trump's proposal, insisting the city's future lies in technology, green energy, and innovation. He argued that returning to heavy industry would repeat past mistakes: environmental costs, market volatility, and dependence on a single sector. Carney's administration pointed to real progress: tech job growth, new green campuses, and a diversified economy. "Why abandon a winning strategy for an unstable industry?" he asked. The decision split the city. Many cheered Carney's vision, but others, especially union leaders, felt betrayed. "A tech job is great if you have a degree," said one union official. "But what about the guy who works with his hands?" Carney's defiance made him a national figure, praised by some, targeted by others. The rift exposed deep divides between old and new Detroit. The debate was no longer just about jobs, but about who belongs in the city's future. The stakes: inclusion, opportunity, and the city's soul. Carney's stand set the stage for a larger national debate. Detroit's choice would echo across America. The city's future was up for grabs. For Detroiters, this isn't abstract, it's personal. Robert Miller, a laid-off auto worker, hears Trump and feels hope. "I built things for 30 years, a new steel mill, that's a second chance." For Robert and many like him, tech jobs feel out of reach. "I don't know how to code, I know how to build." The closure of factories erased not just jobs, but identity and pride. The promise of steel feels like a lifeline, a return to dignity and stability. On the other side is Sarah Jenkins, a young software developer. "My parents lost everything when the auto industry collapsed. Building on steel again is gambling with our future." Sarah sees innovation and sustainability as Detroit's path forward, not a return to old cycles. She worries about pollution and another bust. For her, the tech boom is fragile but promising. The divide is generational and cultural. Old Detroit versus new Detroit. Robert feels left behind. Sarah fears regression. The conflict is about more than jobs. It's about belonging and who defines Detroit. The city's future is being shaped by these competing hopes and fears. The human cost is measured in anxiety and alienation. The debate is tearing at the city's fabric. Both sides want a future, they just can't agree on what it should look like. The stakes are real, the pain is deep, Detroit's identity is on the line, the world is watching, the outcome will define a generation. The standoff's economic impact was immediate. The $2 billion investment offer, then its rejection, sent shockwaves through Detroit. Investors grew wary, projects stalled, inquiries from outside investors dropped 40% in weeks. The city's bond rating is under review, threatening essential services. Political infighting is paralyzing progress. Protests erupt daily, union members demanding jobs, environmentalists demanding a cleaner future. The city's fragile recovery is at risk. The debate has shattered the sense of shared purpose built after bankruptcy. Detroit is frozen, unable to move forward. Local businesses are caught in the crossfire. The city teeters on the edge, not from economic collapse but from political paralysis. The fallout could set Detroit back a decade. To understand the stakes, we turn to Dr. Evelyn Reed, economist at Brookings. Detroit faces a classic trap nostalgia versus reality, she explained. Protectionism, like Trump's steel plan, can bring short-term jobs, but long-term pain. Tariffs make steel expensive, hurting auto manufacturing and inviting trade wars. You can't rebuild a 1950s economy in the 2020s. But Reed warns, dismissing those left behind fuels backlash. Carney's tech vision is right for growth, but transition is hard. Without retraining, many are excluded. Trump gives voice to those losing out. The real challenge, making the new economy inclusive. Reed suggests a third way, integrate advanced manufacturing with new tech, like green steel for electric vehicles. This honors Detroit's heritage while embracing the future. But nuance and collaboration are needed, qualities missing in today's political climate. Detroit is caught in a proxy war, and the city itself is the casualty. The solution isn't either or, it's both and. The path forward demands vision and compromise. This fight is bigger than Detroit, it's a battle for America's future. For Trump, it's a rallying cry, economic nationalism, blue-collar pride, and a rejection of globalism. He's forcing Republicans to choose, restore old industries, or face his wrath. Detroit is his chosen battlefield. For Carney and Democrats, it's a test of vision. Embrace the future, but risk alienating working-class voters. The party is split between progress and tradition. The Detroit clash exposes the central dilemma: how to unite tech workers and laid-off laborers. Trump promises the past, Carney promises the future. There's no middle ground, only conflict. The real cost is paid by Detroiters caught in the crossfire. This isn't about solutions, it's about political points. The nation's soul is at stake. Detroit's future can't be found in absolute victory for either side. A return to heavy industry risks repeating old failures. A tech-only future leaves too many behind. The answer is integration, innovation, and inclusion. Carney must offer a plan that includes everyone. Massive retraining, partnerships, and advanced manufacturing. The vision must be for all Detroiters, not just a select few. Those longing for the past must accept that the world has changed. Protectionism alone won't work. Jobs must be future-proof and sustainable. The real choice isn't steel mill or tech campus, but how to build both responsibly. Detroit's fate will be decided by its people, in meetings, unions, and neighborhoods. It will take listening, compromise, and shared purpose. Detroiters have survived collapse and bankruptcy before, They have the grit to overcome this crisis. The time for ultimatums is over. The time for building a shared future is now. The world is watching to see if Detroit can rise again.